viewers waiting. Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of Thrive on the Odyssey, where we bring you real stories, practical strategies, and insights from it. Please give this stream a thumbs up, share the link, and consider subscribing because we have more in stock for you. Today's guest is a powerhouse of experience and insight. I've known him for over 5 years, and it's been an incredible journey of learning and mentorship. And even before this session, he gave me an aha moment. So get ready to have yours. Today we have Mr. Maxwell Boateng Owusu, the founder and CEO of Extramile, an international kennel brand. And he spent the last decade building this successful international kennel brand, blending his experience and background in entrepreneurship, marketing, and most of all, his deep love for animal welfare. If you are here, you are in for a treat. And if you are here to, please drop in the chat, drop in the comments where you are watching us from. We want to know who you are. We want to welcome you to our community. So without much ado, let's dive in, and with a loud noise, let's welcome Mr. Maxwell Owusu. Hello, Sir Maxwell. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time.
Hello, Gladys. Thank you also for inviting me to your program. It's a beautiful opportunity to be here, and especially being global and then having the opportunity to share my thoughts, authentic thoughts with everybody who is your guest.
Thank you. So everybody knows that today we want to talk about, especially those watching, we want to talk about marketing. That's a very big issue for startups. Being a business mentor working with startups, one question they ask is, we need to get to know how to push our products out, how to get our products to our customers, and even how to retain the customers. Knowing you, I know you have done a lot of things, and I'm particular about this with you because I've seen how you do it intentionally. So today I want you to share your insights, your experience with these young people on the call watching us all over the globe. Tell them, let us learn how we can do it, even on a low budget, right? So first, let's start with your entrepreneurship journey. Tell us how you started Extramile and what are the top 3 marketing hacks that have helped your brand grow.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Maxwell, as you said, Maxwell Boateng Owusu. I'm resided in the UK, a proud Ghanaian. Entrepreneurship is something that everybody should understand is there for everybody to engage in, regardless of your age, regardless of your academic status, regardless of your career or your gender. Everybody can be an entrepreneur or it's opportunity to get into entrepreneurship. Why? Because entrepreneurship just has to do with finding problems and then solving it. So if you can identify a problem in your community, in your life, in your environment, in the world, you can be an entrepreneur. Now, back to my story of Extramile, which majors in providing security through canines. In other words, giving out comfort and safety in the homes of people through dogs. I happen to be an animal. I love animals, particularly dogs. So it's been with me from infancy, being the person who always had to take our dogs to potty training when my dad had our first dog. Now, fast forwarding, when I went to the tertiary, growing up in Ghana, I saw a couple of security threats in people's homes. Had issues where bankers were killed, had issues where ministers of the states or parliamentarians were killed. A typical example is 2016 when Ghana lost one of its MPs by somebody entering into his house and then just killing him in his room. That is one problem that really struck my heart. So what did I do, or what do I do about this situation? Because not only is the MP a threat, but then we have human capitals, we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have teachers, everybody as a whole who wants to go about their life. However, they lacking this kind of safety in their homes are at the beck and call or for victims or prey to robbers. So what did I come to do? I now came up with a solution to invest into canines or into dogs that are of high quality in terms of behavior and in terms of health, that can also serve as a companion to these homes, which will back off potential robbers or thieves. So, in other words, having had this kind of beck and call on my heart, I made a conscious decision to step up and challenge the status quo and then give this kind of safety. So my story of entrepreneurship, or my journey of establishing a business, started this way, with a passion and now an authentic, intentional solution to keep the human capital safe. How would you feel if your brother is an MP, if your brother is the one paying your school fees, if your mom is the one helping you find your business, and then one day you wake up and your mom says, I've been attacked by an armed robber? How do you feel? If the person that who is your business partner, tells you, oh, the money that was meant to fund this type of business or this type of what they have been stolen by thieves because they broke into my house. Now identify yourself with this feeling and then think about it. There would have been a void in your life. So having a dog in your house, if you have a dog that can bark or that cannot even bark, it scares away 7 out of 10 potential thieves. And that is the authentic, genuine solution problem that we have identified and the solution that we are bringing. So I started the journey on zero. When I say zero, a couple of people think that before you start business, you need to get some big money. No, you don't need any money to start any business anywhere. Every business has to start like from point zero or from ground zero. Many people think that starting business, you need $100 million, 100 million Ghana cedis, or this because they are thinking about this big idea. But every business, like the way a child is born, must start from scratch and then go through the process of growth. Now, what will let you be in a very serious business is when you are very authentic to yourself. You grow your brand, and now you say, okay, this is how I'm coming out to help solve this problem. That is when you come in with marketing. So start with my story, because it had to do, and it still has to do, with protecting the human capital in the nation and globally. We said, what can we do? We do not have any money to start with, but then we have your integrity. It is something that a couple of people look away from when they want to start businesses. What do you say? What do you do? When what you say and what you do are one, understand it, you are in perfect business, because the process of beginning a business, the process of sustaining a business, and the process of growing a business, they are all one and the same. However, you need different strategies that have the foundation of integrity, the foundation of honesty, and the foundation of a genuine idea that you are looking at growing in the long run. Entrepreneurship is not just about trying to start something because you are hungry and you need money to buy the next phone, you need money to buy the next car, you need the money to buy the next kind of fashion wear that you want. No, it stems out from finding a genuine problem in the society and then coming up with various strategies to solve this problem. In other words, you can have one problem and then find different ways to solve those problems. They said there are many ways to kill the cat. If you understand this word or this poem or this analogy, you will be in entrepreneurship. So I started with zero. I didn't have any money. However, me not having money was really the grace for me to even be in business, because I had my integrity. And before, I had served under somebody and I never complained about how much I was getting paid. I was rather gracious about what I was learning. Because in entrepreneurship, you always need to learn. You always need to understand the trend. I was in dogs, so I should use dogs to let you understand how I built it. It's zero dogs, zero money. But then since I was serving under somebody, I was willing to serve to the last bit and wasn't ready to get away because I had the skill, because you need to build the right skills and the right experience. What are the right skills that you need? You need a people skill, you need communication skills, you need budgeting skills, you need how to manage your finances, how to understand the product, how to understand your suppliers. When you come into this space, you are ready to be in business and you are ready to sustain and then grow your business. We have a lot of startups who are able to start something today. They go the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and they run out of finances, or their behavior puts off their clients and their customers, and then they come to zero. They end up complaining about witches, complaining about the economy, complaining about the government, but never blaming themselves or asking the right person, what did I not do right? Starting and running a business has nothing to do with any external features. It has everything to do with you that funded the idea. And listen, it should never be about being hungry. Your hunger must be a fire that fuels you to do something. But let me tell you something. If you can constantly find various problems and you can constantly ask yourself various questions and then have a strong why, you can have a business. And that is how I started.
Wow. Thank you. That was very insightful. So looking at how you started with zero money, what did you tell the people when you went out? I mean, how would you start with zero money and want to make money? Take us through the process.
Like I said, starting with zero money and making money, it's never about money. Entrepreneurship, anybody that starts business thinking about money has already failed. Because if you're able to make $100 million now because you started from zero, you might think, oh, now I have arrived. But then if you understand that it's not about money, but the money will come as a reward for the problems that you are consistently solving, you will now come to understand that the money will want to increase in your hands because you are constantly solving problems till the day you choose you want to die. So I wanted to establish a kennel. I didn't have any dogs. I wanted to solve problems. But then the solving the problem didn't come with, or doesn't mean I had to establish my own kennel. I started out as a middleman. That was when the real marketing started. Being a middleman, remember, I started in a season where people were swindling. In other words, they take your product, go sell it, you don't get your money back. And now, one of the effective ways to establish and then run business successfully, where you don't have to think about the extremes. Some people are thinking, I need this type of land. I need that type of expensive store. You don't need it. All you need is your phone. And all you need is your integrity. When I say your integrity, I keep stressing on integrity. How authentic are you? Being started out as a middleman, I knew people that were already in the business, but they needed somebody to connect their products and their services to customers. So I come in, you have a dog, I have somebody that also wants one of your dogs. But I do not have the money now readily to get the dog from you. But what I can do is, one, mind you, solving the problem doesn't necessarily mean I get any dog. You have to now focus on product quality, because there are a couple of things that you need to understand in the market space: your product, your pricing, your place, and the people you are serving. There's another one which I'm going to add to you. But then one thing that you need to understand is your product quality is very important. And now dealing with dogs, I'm thinking about the dogs that wouldn't be sick, because if somebody buys a dog for me, let's say 5,000 Ghana cedis, and the next morning end up spending 2,000 on veterinary care, it means I have failed my client. So coming out with zero, answering your question, I come take your dog. You don't know me, but then you have somebody to vouch for me. Say, oh, I know Maxwell. He's going to bring it, because you have to keep up a good character every day, a positive character, which will not be compromised by your need for an external thing, but which you are going to be very persistent and insistent on every day, every day. So I come up, I take your product, I'm going to sell to somebody. The person has seen what I'm showing. It's not like I'm showing you this and I'm giving you another thing. Remember, I've already said what you say and what you do must be one. You shouldn't say this and then do something different. So I'm saying, oh, Gladys, I want to give you this dog. I've shown you a color of a white dog, but then I come to you and I give you a black dog. I've deceived you. Now, I can't blame anybody because I have not been consistent. I take the dog from you, go deliver to the client. As soon as I get the money, remember, I've put my cut on it or I put my percentage on it. As soon as I get the money, I return your money to you. Now, this helped me gain a widespread name because people could trust me. And remember, trust is one thing that you should never compromise on. No amount of money, no person in business should let you compromise on your integrity, which will win your trust. There's nothing that you're going to let me do in business or even in life in general that will let me lose my integrity. So this is how I started. I'll take your product. I don't have the money to give to you. However, I give you my word. I make sure I will return your money. And I tell the client, if I'm bringing a dog to you at 12 a.m., it doesn't matter what. If I said 12 a.m., I do not give excuses. So I ended up forging trust between clients and producers whilst I saved my part of the money.
Right. You took the words right out of my mouth, because one thing I was going to ask you was, how do you build customer trust so that they even speak about your brand for free? Right. You just actually highlighted that. So in your processes, in your journey of being a middleman at first, because like you mentioned, you don't have dogs, but I know currently you have like a lot of dogs by yourself. What are the top three, or what would you say are the best strategies you used for yourself to get into a place where you are stable and now people can trust you to come to you for dogs? You didn't need to go to people, or even if you still go to people to take dogs for your customers. Take us through that.
All right, that is a very good question. And that is one thing that I would love everybody to understand and then stick to. One, understand that I was coming out as a brand. Remember, I had to go to school to study entrepreneurship and finance and a major in marketing. So part of my education, I gained certain language. One thing that whenever you are selling or you are in business, in marketing, you should understand it. Do not focus on the product only. Focus on the benefit that your client is having. For example, you want to buy a dog. The beauty of the dog might not matter, even though it might be a necessary part why a client will want to buy a dog from you. However, the benefit that the client is getting is going to keep you robbers away from your home. How do you feel that you are buying a dog and I tell you, this dog is not going to give you any health problems. You're not going to spend extra amount of money giving to the veterinary. And also when the dog grows, you have a companion in your house. And then this kind of quality, you can keep this dog for the next 10 years without buying another dog if you are consistent with all the regulations surrounding keeping the dog. However, you are getting something that is going to keep robbers away from your home. And I say this to somebody who has constantly been threatened or has had the invasion of armed robbers or thieves. Wherever they are, they've just built their homes and move with their family. Everybody loves their life. Remember, nobody wants to come out or go out to work and then come back and then the next morning say, oh, I was shot by an armed robber. So how did I do it? Remember, I came in a season where other people were already in the business. So I had competitors. Now, I had to now juxtapose my SWOT. When we say SWOT in business, it means your strength, S for strength, W for weakness, O for opportunity, and then T for threats. I had to look at my strength, my weaknesses, the opportunity that I have in the business, and what would threaten my business or the business that I was establishing and running. And I had to look at my competitors, the other big shots that I met in the name, who everybody wanted to buy from. However, I capitalized on their weakness. When I say on their weakness, I came to understand that most of them were not truthful. They will buy your dog and they will never give you your money. So I had to stand and I had to stand in a position to that behavior. And also in penetrating the market, one big strategy that I use, which I still use, and I'm giving out to the public, is low pricing strategy with quality products. When I say low pricing strategy, if my competitor is selling a dog at 3,000, I'm going to give it to you at 2,800. Just a margin, yet same quality or even above or beyond the quality of my competitor. Because everybody wants to think about their finances. Now, you need to understand the demographics of whoever you are dealing with in business. So some of them might be bankers, some of them might be in politics, and they might have the money to buy it without any negotiations. However, it might not be the same with everybody. And understand that you are building a brand. And building a brand means that you need to come up with something that people will know consistently. Maxwell will give you quality product and the prices are good. It doesn't mean it's a price that is very compromised. However, it is price that everybody can resonate with. So these are the two things that I'll talk about: pricing strategy, product quality, and then also what communication.
Very, very deep. That's really struck me because, like you mentioned, when people or young people are starting business, the rush, the excitement to put the product out makes them take out some of these things. Because personally, I'll pay for value and I'll pay for quality. But people do not look at that. They only look at, let me just sell it and give money. So that was really a striking one for me. Another thing I would want to look at is, whilst you were doing this, what were you looking at? What are the metrics you were using to track the success of your marketing strategies to the growth of your business? Because if you are doing things without really measuring it, it doesn't really make what you're doing sustainable. So as you were doing all that, what are the things, the metrics you were looking at, and what are the metrics startups or small businesses should look at when they are starting out and putting in all these marketing strategies?
All right, that's another beautiful question. Now, talking about the metrics, remember when I started out, nobody knew me. But then when I was giving a quality product, in other words, the value that I was giving to the client, together with them being able to save money, because I had to now resonate with them. Most of them were family members, family people. They had children, they have husbands, they had wives, and people always will come and they're like, I have to pay my children's fees, but I still need this dog. It doesn't mean I'm compromising on my products. However, I have to do something to make sure that this they need, because their safety must not be compromised. Now, the metric that I look at is the feedback from my clients. First customers, first timers, ended up bringing other people. And then I also have to look at them feedback from other customers or other partners in the business, or even my competitors. It got to a point where I kept hearing people mentioning my name. And one thing that I kept people saying, oh, Maxwell is very truthful. His products are of high quality, and Maxwell is very reliable. And one thing that I also looked out for was how people were looking at my trustworthiness. I could have people give me money for years and they will not talk to me. And after a year, they will come back and I say, your money is still there. And they never believed it. Imagine you giving somebody 10,000 Ghana cedis, say, oh, I want to buy this product from you. You never show up. You come back after a year and the person tells you, the money you gave to me is still there. Would you have somebody to believe you? And the reason why they were very comfortable with me, because other clients who brought them to me or who referred me to them had already given them a word about me and they proved it. So with the metrics, I'm looking at the client feedback, I'm looking at the product value. I always have a follow-up system where I'm calling to check up on the dog even after a year. I want to look out for how the dog has been of benefit to you and your family. Have you have any health issues? Give me a call about this, because I want to check up all this to know if the quality, the product I give out there, the quality is according or the value that will suit the market. In other words, that the customer will be very happy about. So looking at, well, product value, that is the long-term value that the product has been of value to the client. Looking out for the referral system, and then looking at the client feedback. These are very, very important to keep track of whatever you are doing in your performance, to know what to do right and what not to do right. Remember, it wasn't just the dogs that I was selling. I came to also establish, because I had to track the business. And in tracking the business, I had 2 years investment plan. When I say 2 years investment plan, when I came to establish my own kennel, remember, I had to build it from ground zero, and I had to do it systematically. So after bringing in one start dog, I had to use that one dog, grow the experience, grow my knowledge, build a portfolio around that dog, and then bring in another dog, using the profit from the first dog to buy a new one. So I don't take money from any other wells. So when I do this, it helps me, or it helped me give out the best of skill to people. Now, the reason why I brought this in, which I'm not swaying away from your question, but then there were other services which have to do with dog midwifery service, and also giving us start aiding service. When I say start aiding service, we support the dog, to mate or to have sex. That was another skill that when I came to contact with the skill, I always sharpen it. And regardless of where you are, you're coming from the northern region of Ghana, you're coming from the southern region of Ghana, the eastern region of Ghana, once we talk and you book an appointment, I never cancel appointments. So my reliability, my pricing, and then also what the customer feedback is something that I use to measure or track my progress and performance on the market.
Amazing. Well, okay. So, if you are here and you're watching, you're listening, you have a question for Maxwell, please drop them in the chat, so that he can handle them live while he's on the call. Another thing I'm curious to know, right? Because two things actually. So currently, looks like everybody's online. Almost everybody is online. So most people are drifting towards online marketing. And traditional media is also currently expensive. Like if you want to do a billboard, you want to do a radio ad or a TV ad, is very expensive, right? So how can startups really put in strategies, or what are the things they should look at or consider at this stage? For example, my startup is just 1 year, right? And I have products. How can I get them to the customers? Especially my customers are local or they're offline, right? Majority of them are offline. How can I get to them? What are the things I should put in place, especially if I have a low budget for marketing?
That is an interesting question, and a very smart one. Now, if you have a startup and then it's just a year, and then most of the people, maybe your clients are not even online, okay? However, if they are not online, the question is, where are they? Remember, to establish and run a successful business, you need to understand your target audience or your target market in order to be able to build a marketing niche for yourself, and then to have what? You segment the market and then create a niche for yourself from the market or out of the entire market. The first thing you need to do is you don't need to go for something very expensive. Are they on WhatsApp? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they on TikTok? If you look out for all these social media platforms and they are there or they are not there, the next thing you need to do is, do they buy from you? How did you get to know them? Maybe they are in your community. Okay. One of the things that I did when I started gaining popularity in Ghana, let's say in Kumasi, I went out to do a brochure, a high quality brochure. I made 2,000 copies, and I made sure that the content were very catchy. Now, what did I do after doing that? I made sure if I give that brochure to you, it will be hard for you to destroy it. And it had my number and my names. And then highlighted my services. When I brought these things out, there are particular days where I stayed. I always had some in my bag. I'll leave some at the veterinary because the dogs that the product we sell end up going to the vet for checkups. So I gave some to the veterinary to dash them out for me, and that was for free. The veterinary will be very happy to dash your brochures out, and then people get to, oh, Maxwell, then they'll give me a call. And then also, I personally will stay on the street with my dogs, sharing it when cars were just passing by, doing high traffic zones. And these were free, and this were not costing too much. Another thing that we can do is you are in a place where people are not even on social media. What you have to do is have a book, have their names and their numbers, have a system of checking up and following up on them with every value that you want to offer to them. What most people do is in business, they are just concerned about the money and never concerned about the client feelings or the client's emotions. Remember, you're supposed to build a relationship with clients, and rapport with clients is very important to affect your business in the long run. How did I establish something in 2015? And 10 years, I'm even not in Ghana, but I'm still running and I'm still in business. Word of mouth. I keep having referrals. And I still have people. I have a strong communication system in place, a very customer-centric stuff that whenever there's an issue, my anger doesn't come in place. It's always about the customer. What does the customer want? How can I make this customer happy? Some clients, I did work for people and then it did not succeed and they came back to me. In Ghana, so one thing I did is let them listen. In business, just be in a hurry to give out your product out there. Listen to the client. Listen to them. Most people do not want to listen. Understand what they want. Understand their need. Understand the timings of what they want. When you are able to establish these things in place, I'm calling my clients. I have to know how they are doing, not just how they are. I don't know how the product is doing with them. And then you build a strategy to introduce the net product so that they do not go to the competitor to buy it. So you build a whole community with your clients. And then another thing I can also do is have a system of sharing your profits. If today, let's say you are making 100 Ghana profits on every product that you sell, have a discount in place that gives that client 10% of your profit or 5% of your profit. What does it do? They really appreciate that kind of flexible marketing strategy that you put in place, and they'll keep on coming to you every day.
Wow. I mean, these are things that we see most of the big and established companies do. But, you know, the behind the scenes and the practicality of it is what you just brought out. And I find that very intriguing. And I know some of my startups are here and would really learn from that. So just another thing I'm really thinking on my mind is, what are some of the common, you know, storytelling mistakes businesses or small businesses make when marketing themselves? Like when they are selling the story behind their business. What are some of the common mistakes you see people do? I know you mentor people as well. So what are some of the mistakes you have seen them do or observed they do?
All right, that is another beautiful question. Now, when we talk about storytelling, ask yourself, how many people understand storytelling? A lot of businesses have been established without understanding a brand and without understanding what they are even offering. Remember, you should never establish a business because you want money. Even if you want to establish a business on a tangent that you are giving value, and that value should be based on a problem that you have seen, a genuine problem. When you pick Nike, what do you see? You see a logo saying this, correct, pass, and then they say what? Just do it. And who are the people, who are the customers of Nike? These NBA players. And it's talking about what? It's now enforcing achieving something in their life. Okay? Hold on.
All right, right. I hope you're really enjoying the session and everything is exciting for you. So I see people putting in their questions in the chat. As soon as we have a few more questions for Maxwell on marketing, and then once we are done, Maxwell will take your questions and answer them, help you to solve the marketing issues you're having with your business. Okay, so I see Maxwell is back on his seat, so we can continue. Hi, Maxwell. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, thank you.
So what I'm saying, when you look at what
Hi, Maxwell. I think you're breaking and we can barely hear you. Can you give me again? Or reposition yourself? Hi, Maxwell. Can you hear me? Oh, I'm not sure if Maxwell hear me.
Doing what you need to do. When you look at Coke,
Hi, Maxwell. Can you hear me?
behind Coca-Cola, I say share a Coke. It's talking about a relationship.
Okay, I do not want to make this exciting parts. Okay, so Maxwell, we missed you for the last few seconds that you're speaking.
But most people establish businesses without understanding what they want. Hello? I can hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you
Can you
better
hear
now.
me?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
Yeah, so we lost you for the last 1 minute or so. When you returned, all that you said, we've not been hearing because your network has been quite choppy. Maybe you can repeat that.
So what I'm saying is, understand that establishing a business, whether you are a small business, you need to understand that it's a brand you are building. Never establish a business because you want money, but establish a business on the tangent of identifying a real problem in the society or problems in the society, and then not finding accurate or genuine and authentic
Hi, Maxwell.
solutions to those problems. Now with it, there should be something that
I think Maxwell is having issues with his internet, so we'll
connect people.
wait for him to resolve that. So, in the meantime, I hope you are learning a lot and you are getting all that you need to scale your business up at this stage. So,
I gave an example of mine. Now, what is the storytelling?
all right. So just a quick rundown.
Just do it.
Okay. Okay, so just a quick rundown, just before Maxwell returns. We've had Maxwell talk about how he started his journey in the kennel business, focusing on what the customer needs instead of making money, and telling us that he values quality and integrity over money and prioritizing his customers and a whole lot more. So if you are new here, just make sure you give this stream a thumbs up and consider subscribing because we have more in stock for you. So I see Maxwell is back on the call. Maxwell, please you can take over again. Thank you.
You're welcome. So well, what I was saying, can you hear me now, please?
Very clear.
Yeah. So with issue of storytelling, what I'm saying is establishing a business should be about building a brand, which stems on finding a real solution in the community, in a society. Sorry, solving a problem wherever you are, and then coming up with something that the people can resonate with. So I said the storytelling, when you say Nike, what do you say? Just do it. The question is, what does that mean? He's not just selling a shoe, he's telling you to overcome your challenges. So when I say just do it, you are buying something, but you are buying the emotion or the intent behind what you are buying. When Coca-Cola comes to you and say, oh, share a Coke, that is their story they are telling you. Why are they saying share a Coke? We want to build a relationship. When you buy Dove, they say, oh, real beauty. What does that say? It means that the woman that buys our product, we are empowering them. So people do not just want to buy a product. They want to buy the feeling. They want to buy the benefit. They want to buy the value. They want to buy the access that the product gives to them. That is why every good marketer, every good business who is able to understand the emotions and really resonate with the customer's needs and preferences has the upper hand in business. That's why I said, do not focus on the money. You have to focus always on the value you are giving to the people. And then the reason that I said, people understanding and able to connect these dots will be able to have a good storytelling. For example, my brand, being from Forever Young to K9 Extramile, still have the same thing that I'm telling people. Where tails go to work. In other words, we are giving a companionship between dogs and family. We are bridging these two together. We are creating a man and dog professional services. In other words, when you have our product, you have another person with you who share with your emotions. Who share with your emotions. So it's not just a dog you are buying, but we are giving you an emotion. We are giving you a companion. We are giving you somebody who will understand, that will be loyal to you.
Right. So with this that you've shared, does a brand story evolve as it grows?
Does the brand story evolve as it grows?
Yeah.
The answer to this question is yes and no.
Right.
Because it is yes, it is no, because your story is what you intend to help solve problems. I just told you, Nike tells you we are. My tablet. Yeah, just can you give me the next 10 minutes? Hey? 10 minutes.
Okay, so you can unmute Maxwell. I muted you. Okay, so you can unmute now. Okay. So we'll be going into the Q&A session very soon. Yeah, there's a question in the chat for you. So Max, please you can unmute and go ahead again and continue. Are you able to unmute?
As I was saying, However, a brand story will also evolve as changes, marketing conditions, and then meeting the customer's needs. You understand it? Yeah, your story will evolve because there will be different marketing needs, and there will be different marketing needs. And then as that happens,
Maxwell, are you there? I can barely hear you too.
pause, Gladys. Just so for the next 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. All right, so would be taking a short break, waiting for Maxwell to come back in 5 minutes. In the meantime, please feel free to put your questions in the chat, give this stream a thumbs up, and share the link with your friends as well. I hope you're learning, you're getting what you're supposed to get, you're getting value on this episode. This is Thrive on the Odyssey, where we bring you real stories, practical strategies, and insights for growth. This is where entrepreneurs grow. This is where entrepreneurs thrive. So if you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you want your business to grow, you want to also grow as a person, then you are in the right place. So consider subscribing, and we have a lot of stuff for you. So we'll just take a quick short break, and once Maxwell returns, we'll continue with the session. Thank you.
Gladys.
Hi, Maxwell.
Yeah, sorry, I'm back. Sorry about that.
That's fine. Thank you for coming back. Yeah, so you can continue with telling us about the storytelling, how a brand story may or may not evolve as they grow. And then we can take the question from the chat, and then so move on to the next segment.
May not evolve. It depends on if the if the business or the brand keeps selling the same thing. For example, Coca-Cola storytelling has not changed. For over a century, it's still the same thing, just share Coke. They are just building or sharing relationship. However, some other businesses or some other brands meeting other customer needs, a customer needs might change, be depending on what is on the market or the demand on the market. And what the customer needs changes, the businesses or the brands target or adaptability in meeting that changes might need to change. So that might precipitate the storytelling to change based on the new trends on the market or based on the new resolutions that the business or the brand brings. So that's why I said it's yes and no.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing that. So there's a question in the chat for you. Let me read that before I go into the last question. He says, have you had negative feedback before? Maybe a problem arising from a delivery or a product, which is not your fault. If yes, how do you mitigate the problem to gain back the customer's trust? And that's from Ernest Edem.
All right. As a business, if
Maxwell, are you there? Hi, Maxwell. We can barely hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Yeah, I
hear
can
you.
hear you.
I can hear you now. You're back.
Yeah. So negative feedbacks, every
Mhm.
business has had and will always have negative feedbacks. Because now in this instance, he made mention of a delivery, which was not his fault.
Mhm.
However, when such things happen, that is when you now put in your communication skills, and then also your customer service ability. Remember, every business thrives and is being sustained or gets sustainability, not when, oh, I'm done selling with you, it's none of my business again. Because you have to use one client to gain another client. So understand the problem, how did it happen, and then ask yourself, how can I help solve this issue better? Because that's why to get money, the aim is to sell value or to give value to the client. So it doesn't just start with when the person buys from you, it starts and it finishes when the person is okay. So if somebody comes and says, oh, we bought this thing from you, we had this issue, and they say, oh, that's not my problem. No. You say, oh, sir, sorry that this thing happened. What happened? When did it happen? Let's see how best we can solve this issue together. Even without listening to your customer or to your client is a different ball game, and it changes your business and helps drive growth in your business. You don't say, oh, you begin to blame the client for his fault or his part in doing it. Remember, marketing encapsulates everything. Understanding your customers' need and with solving problems within problems that may arise. And that is what differentiates between a short-term business and a long-term business. I sell a phone to you, the phone gets spoiled. Oh, that's not my fault. You went to do that. Yes. I what will make me different? Oh, the phone got missing. Let's solve this issue together. How did it happen? Oh, when you did this, oh, because this thing happened. But then say, I'm sorry that this thing happening. This is how best we can solve this issue situation. Putting yourself or identifying with the customer's problem is always key. It doesn't mean you are coming in to take part of your resources to solve the problem, but however, let your customer gain an active listening. Let them know you are there for them.
Right. Definitely would ensure to make sure that our
Let
customers
them
feel,
know you are
yeah, that we are there for them. So just quickly before we pivot to the next,
grow your business. I don't know if I've answered the question correctly.
right. I think you have, but Ernest Edem, let us know if Maxwell has answered your question to the full, or here you have follow-on questions. Thank you, Maxwell. So there's another question from one of my mentees, George. He says, what are some smart ways to use customer feedback to refine both product and marketing strategy without looking weak or inconsistent? Maxwell, are you there? Okay, so whilst Maxwell is fixing his internet, if you have more questions, please let us know in the chat so that we can have Maxwell answer them for you right in this session. Maxwell, are you back? Okay, Maxwell, we can hear you. All right, so we would wait for Maxwell to join and then answer this question from George, and then we can move on to negotiation. Maxwell, we still can hear you. Hi, Maxwell, are you there? Oh, so sad. Maxwell's internet or technology is happening to Maxwell. But we hope that this gets resolved soon, and then we can continue this exciting episode. If you're new here, welcome and thank you for joining. This is Thrive on the Odyssey, where we bring you real business stories, practical strategies, and insights for growth. Consider giving this please give this stream a thumbs up, share the link, and consider subscribing. So I see Maxwell is back, but I don't know if he can hear me. Maxwell, can you hear me? Maxwell? Okay. So let's just give it Maxwell a few minutes to join back on the call. Thank you guys for staying with us and engaging our comment section. We really appreciate you and your time. Please share this link with your friends so that they can also learn from it. Hi, Maxwell, are you back? I can see you. Okay, let's.
Hiya.
Hi.
Yeah.
Technology happened.
Yeah. I think where I am is the issue. No problem.
All right.
The question again.
Okay, so this is from Ajman George. He's asking, what are some smart ways you can use customer feedback to refine both product and marketing strategy without looking weak or inconsistent?
All right. There are two things that I would like to talk about here without looking weak and inconsistent. However, understand that customers' feedback on everything is very important. And again, I'll go back to it. Keep listening. Practice active listening. When a customer brings a feedback on a product, the question is, what are they talking about? What did they say about the product? What does that reveal about the customer experience? And what can we do? So if you do not want to feel weak and inconsistent, the only way a business can feel weak and inconsistent is when they feel, oh, I don't have any solution to you based on the feedback you brought. That's when they say, it's none of my problem, I ghost you. No, you don't do that. What you now do is, did he say now, after 3 weeks, the product is not working? Now you want to ask, and this should also tell you, you should have adequate knowledge on your product or about your product. Don't just sell. Do a thorough search on your product. Know what the problems can do and what they cannot do, and how you can help your customer also relate with the product. It might be that the feedback is showing an inexperienced knowledge of the customer with your product. So listening to the feedback will reveal something to you about the relationship between the customer and the product and what you can do better. It can also tell you what more you need to do. For example, you sell me bread and then the bread is in a black polythene bag. It falls down and I'll tell you, oh, this bread just fell down. The first thing you might say is, it's none of my problem. You didn't handle it well. That's fair enough. But then if you still want to be in business, the question I want to ask you is, what can you do better with that feedback the client brought to you?
Yeah, hi
Hello?
Maxwell. I think we lost you from where you spoke about
Yeah,
the bread.
if somebody buys a bread from me, and then I put it in a polythene bag, the bread falls down while the person was trying to get into a car. This is a real life scenario. Oh, the bread that I bought from you fell down. Now you say, oh, I've sold it to you. That is none of my business. But then the one that wants to stay in business and have a long-term vision for business to solving problems and then starting value, giving value to clients will say, oh, what happened? How did it fall? Now that will inform you, the business owner, to know what next to do right. So that even if a customer that bought something from me was rushing, that thing will not fail and will not be messed. You understand it? So smart way always give into feedback. How am I doing from the scale from 1 to 10? The way you spoke to me wasn't good. Oh, was I being rude? I'm sorry, what can I do better? You understand it? Why is the person saying that how I spoke to the person was rude? You might be offering a sales, or you might be giving a coaching, and somebody comes in with a question that is very annoying. And the person, oh, his teaching was very boring. I didn't get anything from it. It's good. You can say, oh, that is your problem because other people got it. But listen, it doesn't solve it. But why did the person say it? Now you begin to think and also have, that is when innovation and creativity steps in. You are always being on the lookout for problems. And that will keep adding value and keep strengthening your brand. And also what does it do? It also forge trust and then help build relationship and a rapport. Now, that experience you give to the customer will be on their lips. Let me quote something that Jesus did. In the scriptures, when Jesus met the woman at the well of Jacob, and that woman, even though Jesus wanted to sell life to the woman was not ready to get it. But then Jesus was able to identify her problems. You've had marriage. Now the current person you are with is not your husband. Remember, Jesus was not willing to go away from the person, but always looking out for, this is the problem that this woman have had, and she's still having another problem, but what she needs is what I'm going to give to her. And Jesus knew that she had a water of life, that when the woman drinks it, she will not quench. Now, what were the results? The woman went about telling people about Jesus, and that is how you have people bringing referrals to you. So you should always be smart to get the feedbacks and then think, what can I do more about this? How can I enhance this product? Do I brand it this way? Do I now have to establish a delivery company so I know where they are going? I know people are not going to speed up to destroy the brand again. You have to keep all these things into. That's why it's business you are building. You are not just trying to get money now and then run away. You are building a lasting business. So you have to what? Be responsible and be authentic in whatever you are doing.
Deep. Thank you so much. So George, I hope Maxwell has answered your question. If not, please, if you have following questions, please feel free to share them and I'll ask him. So just in line with what you just said, Maxwell, in terms of delivery, there's a question on that in the chat. He says, in a business that works with payment before delivery policy, some customers fear the factor of being scammed. What is the best approach to convince such to commit money without fear of being scammed?
All right. I had a similar thing yesterday. A client called me. He watched my video on YouTube and he came, he said, I want a dog. Now he's been contacting me for like 2 weeks. You know one thing he said? He said, I have never put pressure on him to give me money. So I said, all right, these are the products, and this is what I initiated. I said, you don't know me, I don't know you. So I'm not going to give you my dog and then say, oh, give me the money later, because you might also end up taking the dog and not getting my money. So I said, all right, this is my dog. This is my business. I'm in the UK. I made a call to let him see where I am. I said, my brother is in Ghana. And I made a video call for him to see my brother. And then he saw my cane. I said, oh, now that I've seen it, I'm okay. I said, okay, let's do this. You're a soldier. Get another person to go into my place so that you know where we are in case of anything, or if anything happens, what happened? You can come back. Then I said, the next thing that I'm doing is, you are paying this amount of money. Give me 1/3 of the money. When the product is ready, he was willing to pay everything. I said, no, give me 1/3 of the money. Then the next thing is, when we are ready to give you the dog, you will now pay the rest. Now it doesn't end there. What I do always is, after people have made commitment, I stay in communication with them. I tell them, say your dog will be ready this week. They have done the vaccination. Please expect it. I've made arrangement. When should we send it to you? Can you give me your number? Remember, you should never lie to your customers. You have to put systems in place to know that they can trust you. So if you have thought about everything, if somebody sends you money now, you've made a communication about a product. Okay, I've trusted you, I've sent you the money. And you tell me, oh, the product is going to get in 6 p.m. today, and it ends up not coming 6 p.m. And now you are telling me another story. You're already destroying your business. Be consistent. Have adequate checks in place. If it has to do with delivery, you have to have foresight. Know that, oh, this will happen and that will happen. So me letting the person give me the money now is not important. Let me make sure I have put adequate things in place concerning the delivery of the product to make sure that everything is on time. By doing that, you can now come up with a system where people commit, and then you're also ready to give out the product. However, if it's people you do not know, do not get into that place where you say, oh, I'll give you the product and then you give me the money. No, you're being scammed. However, make sure you are not put adequate systems in place for the delivery. So that means that don't be lazy. Don't wait for the customer. Listen, you have to think ahead of time. Think about all the problems that will come or that will be associated with the delivery of the product. And then what? Bring out solutions to mitigate it. In other words, become reliable.
Become reliable. And that is the key word for you, Ernest Edem. I hope your question on, how to approach the best approach to convince people to commit money without fear of being scammed has been handled. So we have another question from Hobina. He says, how do you still keep your brand integrity whilst experimenting to get feedback on your products to keep improving your product to reach customer satisfaction?
That is a very beautiful question, and it is one that drives us innovation. Now, you have had this integrity for, let's say, a year or two, three. First thing you need to do, communicate to your product, to your customers, be transparent. Okay, they have come to understand this product. They have used it for 5 years. There's a new one coming. Let them understand. I'm bringing in this product. We have 60% or 70% assurance that this is what it's going to do. To let them know you are buying it at this price, but then you might have this or have that. So kindly give us feedback. Don't put your clients in darkness. Let them know what you are giving to them. Don't let them find out. Either than that, they will say you are rather scamming them, or you knew there was something wrong with the product and then you brought it. So, okay, you knew, you have tested it, you've proved it, it's something you are experimenting. Communicate, be transparent with them. All right, this new product that we are bringing, we intend to bring it to the market. And you can also start with some few customers that you trust. You don't give it to everybody, because some people, even you being transparent, might still say bad things. So, and that you trust, and then get their feedback. And then whilst you are expanding, still be transparent with people. Communicate to them. Let them know this is the new product. This is what we are expecting might happen. Make sure you have reduced the hazards, in other words, or the harm, and then be ready for feedback from them so that you know, okay, this is what we are experimenting. This is what people came out with. This is what we can do new. We need to maintain this, and we do not need to maintain that. So the issue boils on transparency and communication.
Right, thank you. So I see another question in the chat, and it's quite funny because that was my next question, right? But I'm just gonna read his question, and then I'll say mine as well. So this is from Frank. He's asking, what are the things you need to put in place if you are out of the country your business is, right? So for me, I was gonna ask, like, I'm curious, how you do it. Usually when people are leaving the location where their businesses are, they usually sell off the business or they close down the business so that they can move to, wherever they are. But for you, you're in the UK and you're here running your business. I mean, maybe everything may not look all right or may not be going well, but how do you do it? And like Frank is asking, what are the things we should put in place? So tell us how you're doing it, and then what are the things startup founders should put in place in case there's an opportunity for them to move outside the location their business is currently.
Okay. Now this question comes into this is when you establish partners and co-founders in your business. Understand what type of business are you doing? When did you have the plan to move out? And what was the vision, or what is the vision for your business? Now, every business runs and thrives on systems. Okay. Now, with the system that you are doing, make sure that you have a system of genuineness, and then being authentic, be truthful with your customers, or sorry, with your partners and co-founders, and then understand your co-founders. This might get into the place where you bring in negotiations. Okay, I'm going to go out. I still want to keep this business running. However, I want to set up a system where I have other people running it here with me and for me. And then you have to understand what are the threats. That's why I said you have to understand your SWOT, your strength, your weakness, the opportunity, and the threat. What could be a threat, or what would be a threat to your business? In the next 5 years, should you not be around? What are the possible happenings that might harm the business or that might destroy the business? When you understand all of these things, you now have to come up with solutions. Would it be low pay? Would it be people going about stealing your clients? Would it be people trying to establish other business out of your business or within your business? You need to understand all of these things. And then you come up with adequate solutions to mitigate it. What do I have to do? If somebody is going to maybe do something dubious because I'm not paying the person right, what does that mean? It means that you need to establish a fair pay system. Do not establish business and think, oh, because it's my business, I'm taking all of it because they are there and then they are now being the watchman of the business. If you don't establish that system in place, how sure are you that your business is going to collapse? Listen, the business might exist, but it might not have life. And you want to make sure your business continually have life. So understand the threats and the opportunities, building on the opportunities, understand your weakness as a business owner and the weakness of the business, see all the loopholes that people will want to abuse, and then build strategy, counter strategy to mitigate it.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. Frank and Jonathan, Kobina, I hope your questions have been answered. So just quickly before we wrap up, what are some hacks or strategies that entrepreneurs should consider when they are marketing? So more like give us what they think marketing is versus what marketing actually is on ground, this session is more practical. Usually we hear things or we see things online, but how is it on grounds, especially when you are building a business from scratch in the first maybe 3 years? And then what's yeah, so let's finish with that. Then I can ask the next questions.
All right. So marketing is simply you trying to bring out the value of something out there to the public. Okay. It might be a product or it might be a service. And now, understand all the marketing channels, the place, the product, the people, and the population also counts. Now, with me, the strategy that I told you I did, the first strategy I did, there is something we call prestige pricing. But then you can also target low pricing strategy. And I'm giving this out for free. One of the things I always do when I'm selling dogs to people in different community or locality, or let's say in a different region, is always to reduce my price. Not to make it too cheap, but it's to reduce my price. Do you know why? However, I'm giving them something of great quality. I want to give them something to talk about. And I want to make it easy for them to refer me or to refer my business and products. You get it? So I tell them, oh, you are a first timer. I let them understand I really appreciate their time with me. This is the price I'm giving to you because you are a first timer. And I just want to just show appreciation. It's this price, but then I've just bring the cap or a discount of this, have it. And you're always ready to give me people or to refer people, and I will even give you this. Some people bring people and they don't expect nothing, and it has always worked for me. Like I said, do not spend your profit alone. Share your profit with people. Okay, let me give this one of this quick strategy. Listen, people don't really care about your products. They care about how your product make them feel.
Okay.
People don't really care about your product. They don't care about your business. They care about what they feel. Other than that, we have had problems. Oh, I went it, but then it didn't give me what I wanted. I think I want something like this and I want something like that, but I didn't get. So it's about the experience that you are selling to people. So if you want a quick marketing strategy, after knowing that this is the product, if it's a security service you are running, if it's a midwifery like me who was offering midwifery services, one thing that made people always come to me was I was always reliable and available. Even I all my business schedule and not die. They'll survive and have adequate knowledge and expertise to do it. However, you have to look at partners, look at your customers, share your profit. If I want to say, Gladys, oh, I wanted to help me promote my business. How do I do it? Okay, Max, so I'm going to charge you 10,000 for this commercial. That's good. All right, let's negotiate. How about me giving you 10% of every sale that comes through your ad? Now, you are going to compare that with that lump sum of 10,000 that you are taking from me to you having a long-term profit. If I'm selling every dollar, I'm selling at 10,000 and you're having 10% of everything that I'm selling, what will happen? It means that every time people come through your ads, you are getting, which means that in the long run, you are going to get more. So I've made you indirectly a partner or a share of what I'm getting.
Right.
And then we are mutually benefiting. You get it? And then do not throw away your integrity. No matter what. It's one thing that your integrity, one thing that has made my business thrive. I've not compromised on quality. I've not compromised on quality. And I was talking to somebody recently, and then he wanted to buy a dog from me. And one thing I do is, if I take money from you for a product, and somebody comes with a higher money than what you gave, I don't accept the higher money, no matter what. No, I don't. You see, I don't accept the higher money unless I have systems in place to let you know, if you give me this, I have this system, you have an ultimatum of, let's say, a month or 2 weeks to do this. If you don't get it, other people have the opportunity, the terms and the conditions. Understand it's a brand you are building. Let people understand your system. But if I give and I allow you to give me your money offered, I don't change my mind. That is integrity. I respect the client. I respect the time they came to me for the product before the other person comes in. And if any other thing, the person might wait. You shouldn't not be, you shouldn't change your mind just like that. If you think you want to do that, have a system in place to let people understand your policies and system. But not that people say, oh, that guy, if you give him money, he can't be trusted. Don't throw away your integrity. Don't trade it for anything. Your integrity and your honesty, don't trade it for anything. What quality you have, let it be the same thing for the next 20, 10 years. Don't change it. Have you not had people complain, oh, this is how Nkatia Burger used to be. Sorry, I'm saying this. This is how this product used to be. But then they have now reduced the price. It's used like the same part, they've now reduced it. And they've just bought it, they can't do anything. So do not change. If you think that you have to now expand, or your market niche has expanded and you have to reach more people, find more ways to go out, produce what you have for people.
Right.
And if you are certain changes, communicate with your customers and your partners. Communicate, be transparent with them, build a rapport, build a trust, be consistent with what you are doing, keep growing your business.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that, because this was very profound for me, especially when you talk about don't change your mind, keeping your integrity. Usually for startups, they usually iterate and then reiterate and then come back to the cycle again. So sometimes it feels like they are very unstable. But then the key focus thing is making sure that you are keeping the quality intact. Even if you need to change something, you need to inform the people that are going to use your products, or your partners, or whichever stakeholder is involved in it. Right. So that will be all for marketing. But just before you go again, you mentioned something about negotiation, right? So what is the biggest lesson or negotiation lesson you've learned as an entrepreneur?
The biggest lesson.
Negotiation lesson.
Okay. For me, I would say every negotiation must hinge on mutual interest. Remember, you should never negotiate to win. Okay, I'm selling at 5,000. Customer comes and says, I want to give you 4,000. I want to go. Yes, this is your value. You are expensive, but then think about what the customer is saying. Do not lose yourself, even on the negotiation table. You can end up letting the client understand that what you are selling to them, or whether it's a business or the kind of business that you two are coming into, if it goes this way, it's going to help the two of you expand the business. Like, this is how you two are going to mutually benefit. When you understand some of these things, every time you negotiate, it's going to go very smoothly. And one of the things that I will always say is, one of the things I also say is, do a kind research on whatever you're negotiating on. Do not be vague. Do not be ignorant. Don't be ignorant. Like, master your business. Master your business. That's what I want to say. So on negotiation, it should be founded on collaboration and mutual interest. If it means that we have to go 50-50 split, let's go 50-50 splits. Simple.
Yeah. So you just got the last question out of my mouth, which was, how do we balance assertiveness and collaboration? Because usually, like you said, some people would either want to win for themselves, take advantage of the situation, and all that. So how do we balance being assertive and then being collaborative in a negotiation process?
Yeah, being assertive just has to do with your quality, the quality of your brand. Okay, this is what the brand stands for, and run to another place. So in this sense, how do we increase our assertiveness? That is simply what it means. So I'm not losing that session, I'm not losing the goal, I'm not losing the vision. However, I'm carrying the vision, and it has now come to the negotiation table. And if that means I have to listen to what the other person is saying to understand things from his or her perspective, that is what I need to do. I'm not losing myself, but we've come to a different table. I have to separate my business from the negotiation. Building trust, you are building friendship, you are building relationship, you are building rapport, you are growing business. So you maintain your stance of your loyalty, of your integrity, your product. These are my systems. However, you've come to the negotiation table. So how do we make the negotiation work whilst I still maintain it? You maintain what you mean by the business, the tenants, the values of the business. You have to maintain it. But then on a negotiation table, it is still the tenants or the quality of the business that you are bringing. So somebody comes and says, okay, I'm interested in investing in your business. An investor comes in, a co-founder comes in, the customer comes in. Yes, this is me. This is what the brand stands for. I'm not losing it. Yet, however, you come in part, what do we have to do together to make sure that this brand still stands? That is what it means. I don't know if I've answered it.
Yeah. That answers it. Thank you so much for the insights you have shared with us today. We have really, really learned a lot, and
You're
we've taken
welcome.
so much of your time. So just give us your takeaways, and then we can wrap up in the next one.
Yeah, my takeaway, everything. Listen, there is no money out there. There's no money in any country. There's no money in any family. There's money in your problems that you identify yourself with to solve. I believe that one thing that really keeps us from thriving in business is our ignorance and the limitation that we put on our minds. If you think you are ignorant in something, get knowledge, build skill. What do you think you can do better? Learn something. Don't put limitation on your mind. Dream big and go for it. And let me tell you something, go for it on the foundation of integrity. Go for it on the foundation of honesty. Go for it on the foundation of humility. When I started my business till date, I had hundreds of thousands of money with me, but I never spent it unwisely. You never see me buying material stuff. Why? My focus has been on business. I could invest in my money to have returns, but I was never getting myself into stuff that will deplete or take. When you have $100 million today, don't think you have arrived. What can you do? Don't limit yourself to a company that you can have a company, a factory. It might be in the fashion industry, it might be in the food industry, it might be in the hair. Don't let anything stop you, and don't give up when things become tough. Create and innovate. That is it. That's what I can say now.
Oh my goodness, what a session. Thank you so much,
You're
Maxwell,
welcome.
for sharing this timeless form with us. I mean, I work with startups, so I know what they are going through in terms of negotiating, even with customers or suppliers or anything, but you've been able to bring it down to us, make this as practical as possible, and we are so, so grateful. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so
You're
much for
welcome.
being here. So for those of you on the YouTube stream, you can reach out to Maxwell on his social media. So Maxwell, leave your social media for us. Maybe people want to connect with you for personal mentorship or coaching. Please, can you help us with your social
Um,
media and connect with you?
On Facebook, the name is Ekyem-Andoh Jr.
Okay.
And on
Okay.
TikTok, on Instagram, is K9_Extramile_GSD.
Okay.
And I'm coming up with plans to be on YouTube fully, but I have one video on YouTube, which any
Yeah.
of you can just have a look. If you type K9 GSD, K9 GH Dog TV. I shared some insightful stuff on business and marketing, and then you can learn. And also my number is 0246 686790.
Okay. So please take it again. That should be +233
246
yeah.
686790.
Okay, Maxwell. Thank you so much. Very grateful.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So if you're on the YouTube stream, I've shared his contact and then his Facebook and then the YouTube name of the YouTube channel as well. So try, please go follow Maxwell on his social media and subscribe to his YouTube page as well. And subscribe to this page if you're new here. Would love to have you as part of our community of thriving entrepreneurs. And like this stream, share this stream with people you know are building businesses because they need it. So until the next episode, it's bye for now.
Bye.